Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon.
You are Mrs. Apoki. And you say what?
That is my name.
That is your name, Mrs. Apoki. I want to ask you a few questions that people have been asking me. How was this place when you started?
The place, before we started actually, the place was like a river. Let's say river. Or it's like a pond.
A pond.
Yes.
So
Water everywhere.
water everywhere, and you had fishes too
Yeah.
inside
People come
there
here to
fish.
yes, to fish.
And so from foundation to this level, how many blocks?
I think 8 blocks.
8 blocks.
Yeah.
And how did you do the bottom? Did you put rods?
Yes. We laid rod at the bottom before we started because of the nature of the ground,
Okay.
the soil.
So how many students did you start this place with, learners?
We started with 5 children, and they are including my last born.
Including your last one. How many years ago?
That's 25 years, yeah.
25 years.
25 years ago.
Okay. So what experiences did you have, and what lessons do you want people to get from your building this place? Because when people come here, they think that you just had all the money, had support from bank, that you inherited some money from your parents. What do you have to tell them to encourage them to build?
So most people come here to ask how we actually built this place, but that's a very difficult question to answer, because most time when they ask me, I can't really say, because it's all the way God has been behind the building of this place.
Okay.
So when you say how did you come to this stage, I might not be able to answer, because the way people are seeing it, that's the way I'm seeing it also. Because I can't really say this was how we started and this was how we are. This is where we are now. But there's one thing, that's the focus. When you're given anything to do, when God gives you anything, any project to handle, because I would say it's the Lord's project.
Okay.
And that is the reason I cannot really explain it.
Okay.
When God gives you any project to handle, you must be focused.
Okay.
That word, focus. Because if you're not focused, you will have a divided attention, and you won't continue what you're doing. So that focus must be there. So there are so many people starting projects. When the focus is not there, you see them putting their hand and maybe getting to halfway, and you discover that they will leave that project and go into another thing again. If you don't have that focus, you won't have the result you're seeing today.
So what were the likely things that would have distracted you, but that you refused to allow to distract you?
When we started the foundation, when we were to fill after the DPC, that alone can discourage anybody, because it was you're going to fill a well so deep, such as when the first strip of sand were brought in, when you put them down, you ask yourself, how are we going to finish this? But if you're focused and you're determination, that is also there. And when if you have it in your mind that once you start, you must finish, then that zeal will push you.
Okay.
Make you to do things even when you don't feel like doing. You see yourself doing things you don't feel like doing.
Okay. Will you say that when people start this kind of projects, that some of the distractions that can come, the money you are supposed to put here, you might use it to go and buy luxuries? We are building here when we are tenants.
Yes, and that is why I say focus. Most people are not focused in whatever they are doing. You ask yourself, if you start a project and you give yourself, you also give yourself time.
Okay.
you've started this project now, that in the next how many years that the result of this project will come out. So if you don't give yourself time, you discover that even when God puts the money in your hands, you see yourself using the money for something else. Because God has given you a project and is ready to supply you with the resources. And when the resources come into your hand, what do you do with it? You discover that even when God is behind you, monitoring the project you're doing and ready to see you through, when the money comes, they divert the money to other things.
I remember.
And so you discover that you can neglect whatever you have started and start focusing on other things.
I remember when somebody told me that we don't dress well, yourself and your husband, Dr. Apoki, that you don't dress well. So sometimes, can people divert what they are supposed to use in building their future into fashion and frivolities?
Of course, and that comes into savings. Even
Okay.
today, I think we don't really dress well, even as at now, because I don't really see any need for the clothes. If I can have the little I'm able to have to keep me going, I don't think I really need this clothes of a thing. So when you have, and it comes, let's say the cooperative we talked about the other time, saving. If you don't have the habit of saving, you will discover that you start using your money. As the money comes, you use the money for anything. Saving, you must develop that spirit of saving everything. When money comes into your hand, you label that money, that this money is for so thing, and then you keep it for that thing.
You label the money.
You label your money.
In fact, sometimes
when the money comes, you label your money.
So sometimes you label them even before you get them.
Yes. When you get so money from so place, this is what I will use it for. And when the money comes into your hand, do you keep to that? Most people, when they say they will do this, if I have money, I will do this. No, let us learn the habit of saving. If you can save, no matter the amount that is coming into your hand, if you can save, if you can have that habit of saving, when you have 1,000 naira, if you can pick 10, is it 10 naira now? Yes.
Or 100 naira.
1,000 naira out of 10,000 naira.
Okay.
To keep, at least that will go a long way. But most people will say, what do I do? What will 1,000 naira be enough for? But have the habit of saving.
So
once you have that habit of saving, and then have a cooperative you go into, because the way I am today now, if I start a project by the grace of God, I don't stop until the project finishes. And not because the money is there. The money is not there. Because most of the time we do this thing, the money is never there. We just start believing God that God will see us through. And then couple with the cooperative that we have joined. And then when we start a project, and if you're into cooperative, you don't stop until that project finishes.
Okay, let me ask you one question.
Yeah.
How do you, in this school now, I know how you pay for your cooperatives. So tell people how you generate money to pay for your cooperatives. You don't pay from the school fees.
No. Most time I don't depend on the school.
And I
have other businesses doing.
Like
we have books. We sell. We supply to other schools. We publish books. We sell. And then you don't undermine their little things, because I cook rice.
Oh, you cook rice?
Yes, I prepare rice.
And sell here?
Yes. The children, they need it.
Okay, what else do you prepare here?
Chips, potato chips.
Plantain chips,
Yes,
potato chips?
Yes, I generate my money from there.
Where is the plantain from?
From your farm, of course.
And the potato?
From your farm.
Okay. So you cook rice, and because there is a large population, even how much do you sell a plate of rice?
We have the one of 50 naira, 100 naira. The children, you have to consider what they have in their
So
house.
this small 50 naira, 100 naira times a large population will amount to a large amount of money over a period of time.
That's what most school owners don't, actually venture into.
There was one time you were selling my sugarcane here.
Yes.
I planted sugarcane, you were selling.
Sugarcane, yes.
Okay, you sell water?
a water.
You also have a bookshop
Yeah, we have a bookshop.
and a
For
printing
the
press.
school, yeah.
But you trained as a nurse and you are writing books.
Yes, you know, before we got married,
Yes.
actually, I had the mind of going to College of Education, Abraka.
Yes.
And then when we came together, you told me to leave it off, that it will be good if we are in the hospital together. And then you forced me, you wrote the application
Yes.
into the nursing.
School of Nursing.
Yeah, School of Nursing. So you wrote the application and I went, because anything you find yourself doing, try to learn how to do that thing. Even if you're forced into it, try to know it, so that whenever you're called to defend that thing that you have learned, you'll be able to deliver. So I went to School of Nursing, of course. I've taken delivery so many times, but my mind was not really there.
So when I was doing all those, when I was doing all those operations, removing fibroids,
you
doing
can testify to it that whenever there is any
dirty wound,
I don't go into the ward.
I'm the one that goes
Yes,
there.
you go there.
Okay.
So
Now
when there was an opportunity to pull out, when you say you were leaving
medical
practice, and I felt relieved, and I actually moved out to.
So you have 6 flats somewhere there.
Yeah.
The green roof in the background.
Yes.
What was that?
It was the hostel.
And we bought it, not so?
We bought the place.
From somebody.
Yeah.
And then you completed it.
We completed it.
This interlocking we are seeing, how did you go about it? Because it will cost a lot of amount if we do it by contract.
Yes, it just the idea of using that philosophy of the ant.
Okay, explain the philosophy of the ant.
Philosophy of the ant, not having so much in your hand before starting, and you continue going. You don't stop.
So you start small.
You start small.
But you keep going.
You keep going until you achieve what you want.
I remember when I came from preaching one day, I saw chippings here. That's granite.
Yeah.
And you didn't stop until we got everything that is here today.
I could also remember when, after building, this place was very deep.
Very deep.
Yes, the place was very deep.
Okay.
And when I brought the first strip of sand, I poured into it, you laugh. You said, when are we going to complete this? But at least we started.
We started.
I got grace. I also completed.
So I want you to repeat that philosophy I quote a lot. The best way to start
is to start.
If you can't start small,
if you can't start small, you can't grow big.
It is only what is started
that you can complete.
Don't let your mates
meet you where you are.
If you can't fly,
walk.
If you can't walk,
you crawl.
If you can't crawl, beg somebody to carry you.
Yeah.
So I want to really thank you. But you use tiles a lot. When you started with the tiles, I was very disturbed. You use tiles a lot. So why do you use tiles?
It was not really easy using the tiles. The person you work with matters a lot. The engineer. I must commend my engineer.
Moses.
Engineer Moses.
Okay.
He's a kind of wonderful person, because most of the people, if you use the wrong person,
yes,
you will hardly go out of it. But if you use the right, if God can direct you towards the right person, if you start with the right person, the encouragement from that person, somebody that will not steal your things, somebody that will encourage you that let us do it, that it will, you finish it. That's the kind of person you work with. So when you see so many abandoned projects everywhere, they started the project with matters a lot. Because if you go into a project with a wrong person, then you're bound to leave that project uncompleted. Wow.
You will be ordained a pastor in the Church of God Mission by the end of this month, not so?
Reverend, yes.
So, what you'll be preaching now, I'll give you some preaching engagements to handle.
You knew quite all right, and when they came, I said I was not really prepared, because whatever I'm doing is okay for me. I don't know what going into being ordained as a pastor, because I told them, you can't take me from here now and go and put me into one church. I don't preach.
Okay, but you're already preaching. So this is you are preaching already. People are listening to you. This is another way of reaching people, okay? You don't need to be in the pulpit to preach. You can preach online. That's what you are doing now. Finally, what do you have to tell young couples that are newly married? What have you learned from 38 years of marriage and 42 years of relationship?
I think
People passing through difficult times and all that.
They passed through difficult. This wasn't the way we started, but if you, like I said, it's something you start. If you start something, if you can endure and go through the pain in that thing, you will see yourself moving towards what you don't even expect, getting the result of what you don't expect. When we started, it wasn't this way, but God helping us, we were able to tolerate each other. It's not as if when you see people outside, it's not as if they don't quarrel or they don't have disagreement. But that ability to tolerate each other, and again, what most women should pray for is to have a husband that will push them to doing what they maybe they don't feel or feeling reluctant to do. There are husbands who can, most women discover themselves through the husband they marry. When you ask me to go and do this thing, and I know that you're standing by me, you ask me, just like you told me to go and sign a check, like all our accounts, we have a one account. We don't have different bank account. So either you sign or I sign. There was a time I signed wrongly.
At Aba?
At Aba.
On Friday.
I remember. And then you said that
UBA.
I should sign again. And I did. And they rejected it. And you said I should sign again. You discover that when you have a husband, we say, go and do it. You can do it. When that encouragement is not there from the man, you will discover that there are so many things inside of you that can be,
remain dormant
inside of you. You can't bring them out.
You remember
when you're given the opportunity to do, you even see that things you think you cannot do, you see yourself doing them, because most of the things I do, before you come around, I've started.
Wow.
Before you come around, because you also knew that whatever I'm starting is for the family. So you don't fight me, you don't quarrel over things that I'm doing, because what you do is that when you come around, even though most time I might not even consult you, because if I consult you, if I say I'm starting this thing, looking at what you have in your hand and you knowing that it might not carry us, you will say let us wait. But if I start and you come and you encourage me, this thing is good, you can go on with it, and then that motivate whatever is in you. You even do better.
Okay. 2 questions I will ask. When we started, we were scared that we might not be able, we'll just do only one wing. Yeah. I remember I prayed throughout the night, and God gave me a vision, and I wrote it down, 38 million, but we've spent more than that by far.
What is 30? Not even in first floor.
But you found out that when we started, the money started coming. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
That when you put your leg into the water will divide.
Yes.
So most people are always waiting until they get, and they never start. You remember that experience?
Yes.
Okay, let me say this and then we are done. People say we are very harsh. They will ask, how do you work with Dr. Apoki and Mrs. Apoki? So what do you have to say?
That we are very
harsh, very harsh, very strict.
Okay, very harsh.
Yes.
Dr. Apoki, if you actually look at the harshness, I know how to enter you. You're harsh because you don't tolerate things that are not rightly done. That is just one thing. Like I tell most people that come into the compound, say, my husband will not be here because he wouldn't want to see the children running anyhow, and he must talk. And that might not be too good for his health. So you are very harsh because you need the right thing done. You don't like cutting corners. So if you want the right thing and it's not being done that way, you see yourself, angry over whatever they are doing. So your harshness, I think, is not something you should run out from. That your harsh will not make me to do what I'm supposed to do. Your harsh when you're not seeing the right thing being done. If that thing is done and done properly, you encourage the person to go on.
Wow, I'm always delighted interviewing you, and my followers on YouTube are always delighted. So you are my friend,
Mrs. Charles Felicia Apoki.
Did you say the Apoki? Well, say it very well. Apoki.
I'm your friend, Mrs. F. Apoki. That's the way you want it.
Okay, God bless you.
Bless you too.
All right.
Yeah.